I'll start. Okay. So we're gonna go over leg locks today. We're gonna probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. We're gonna do leg locks. We're gonna start with ashi this week. I'm gonna start with braking mechanics on the rolling heel hook, which is like the #1 sub you kind of need from ashi. And once we finish braking mechanics, we'll work backwards today and we'll go into entries. But we're gonna go over standing entries. So kind of using wrestling concepts to pull guard instead of just kind of, let me grab this guy and pull guard, and then maybe you get your guard pass immediately, or you end up in a bad spot underneath. So we're going to use some wrestling concepts to pull guard in a way that's going to put us in a advantageous position once we actually get to the ground. But we'll start with mechanics of ashi for control and for braking in the outside heel hook, and then we'll move on to standing. So basic position for ashi, there's a couple of things. When you get to this spot, my inside leg can hook under this hamstring that I'm attacking, or it can hook under the far side. The far side is generally better because now I'm controlling two legs. If I'm here, his secondary leg is going to pummel in and he's going to get out, he's going to stand. He's got too much game if I leave this leg, but if I hook it, I've got a little bit better control. Now to control the primary leg, the one you're attacking, just pinching your knees is okay, but you're going to get tired and he's probably going to pull his leg out anyways, right? Exactly, he can push that knee down. So the mechanics I think about for control is instead of squeezing my knees, I'm bringing this knee towards my face and I'm stomping his hip. It's more of a scissor move kind of situation with your legs. So if I'm pinching, start scooting away. See, it starts to break apart a little bit. If I do a scissor, start to scoot away. It's a lot stronger. It's a lot stronger. And I'm not using nearly the same amount of energy because I'm using bigger muscles. I'm using like my glutes to stomp down, and that's a lot better control. So if you're in a competition and you're not at like brown or black belt, you need to be concerned about the positioning of this foot. If this foot starts to drift, that's a reap. And in a lot of competitions, that will get you disqualified immediately. We're going to go over the reaping heel hook anyway because I think it's kind of a fundamental you need. But just be prepared. Like if you're in a competition and you sit somebody down, you got to be disciplined with this foot placement to the outside of the hip. Draw a line down the middle of his foot. If it goes across, that's illegal. And also you got to be strong with this foot. Because like in IBJJF, dudes will grab your foot and pull it across their body to get the DQ. That's a real thing. It's supposed to be, if they do it, they're supposed to get DQ'd, but you can't count on the refs. So, scissor. Now, when I want to expose the heel, if I start to drop to my shoulder and dig the heel, it starts to get a little difficult. I can, but I've kind of bunched myself up. So the way to expose this heel hook is with my legs. Maybe post up, and I just start to steer my legs. See how his heel pops up? Now I can trap the heel. So the rolling heel hook, the way this is going to work is you're going to pop him up, and you're going to hit this. 99 guys out of 100 are going to spiral. They're just going to turn out. So you got to be able to follow. Once we get to here, this inside leg comes out, and I lock an outside ashi. That way when I hit the ground, our mechanics are on. It's a good idea to get good at braking on the outside heel hook because it makes every other heel hook easier. This is the tricky one. So when we get our heel hook, here's the mechanics we want to focus on. My arm has got to be perpendicular to his leg. If I'm parallel, I'm going to heel slip. If I bring my elbow in and I take my fist in this direction, it already puts some pressure on that knee. So I want to be perpendicular, like making a T as much as possible. When I grab my gable, I want my top forearm to frame down on his shin to lock everything in place. And it's the same as the last heel hook we went over. I don't want to rotate across my body. I want to look over my shoulder and drive my hips through. So if we get good at putting these on from ashi, you'll start hitting this a lot. This is one of my favorite leg locks. Here, hit, he starts to spiral. We roll, legs out, here, bang. insta-kill when we hit the mat on that outside ashi. Just make sure you got a good angle on that heel. You're looking over your shoulder to finish. Let your hip drive do the finishing. Try not to finish with like upper body rotation. It's just not as effective. It can break, but it's just not as effective. Give that a shot, and then we'll go over ashi pulls next. 1, 2.